Welcome back guys for another video. In this video I'm just super thankful that we have just reached 100 subscribers after 30 days of the Pokemon Go PvP podcast called The Third Shield. So thank you guys, I'm really appreciative, and to celebrate this 100th subscription I am going to give away some gifts. So number one I want to give away, check this out, we have all these new products, I'm gonna link them in. But we're gonna have new shirts, different colors. I think 3 colors we're gonna start with, and then we're gonna have hat, we're gonna have a mouse pad, we're gonna have mugs, and all these cool things that we're gonna start adding in as the podcast grows. So in the meantime, our 100 subscribers, which I'm going to type in the bottom because I have to figure out who was the 100 subscriber, but the 100 subscriber is going to get this shirt. So if you were the 100 subscribers, if you already know, then make sure to DM me on Twitter or your address where I can mail the shirt for. So thank you so much, and thank you for supporting, guys. And by the way, on Twitter, thank you so much for supporting us so much, because so many amazing guests and people who are listening and watching the podcast, because remember, we're on YouTube, we're on iTunes, and all the platforms, but so many of you have been sharing it left and right, and I'm so appreciative. So guys, make sure that if you share it, and even if you share the podcast on your Twitter, we can see it because we have vidIQ software. So you can actually see who shared our podcast on Twitter, and then randomly be selecting people every week with the episode to give out a free shirt, whoever is willing to share our podcast on Twitter. And if you comment, we also pick random people to get a t-shirt. And then eventually, like I said, the mugs and all the cool stuff that we're gonna have additionally. And then also, don't forget, every Wednesday at 12:15 p.m. we are also going to battle at the latest episode of the podcast. So every podcast has a battle in the between, and during this battle you can bet if I win or if I lose, and if you are right, then the first person who gets it right gets $10. So guys, make sure to do that. We are getting more and more involved with Pokemon Go, and today is a downtime as they updating the server. So what a better time than rewatch some of the episodes, because the previous guest that we had was Caleb Peng, and Caleb Peng really put his heart out there for you guys and really showed you how to build an anti-meta team. And speaking of anti-meta team, this is the perfect time to dig into that, because today is the official launch of Ultra League. And for also being thankful, I wanted to share what I'm going to do for Ultra League as my team. I'm gonna go with 3 separate teams. So I'm building the team, as you guys can see it on the pvpog.com, who, by the way, Matthew was also our guest on the Pokemon Go podcast. He was our first guest of all people, and I'm so thankful that he did that. And each episode so far on the land, we got so many subscribers. Obviously, we only have 5 episodes now, but I'm so thankful, and each episode, thanks to you, because you guys are giving us lots of feedback, is changing, adapting, and getting better one episode by episode. So I'm so thankful for you guys. Please keep it up, please comment, please tweet. I'm gonna link it into as well, our Twitter. So it's basically Daniel Z Neri. So it's Daniel, a Z, middle initial is Zoltan, believe it or not, that's my middle name, so Zoltan. So it's Daniel Z Neri is the Twitter. So go there, and that's also my gamer tag, gamer ID, and then that's what's, and everywhere else on Instagram you can find me there as well. But, so my first team that I wanted to test is actually Charizard, Shiftry, and Bennett, if I say it right. But it's just it got a few F, especially for bulk. So now I replaced it to Granbull, because Granbull, I heard so many cool things about it, especially from Svidia's Chief too. He shared really awesome things about it. But here's the thing, so I'm probably gonna do one of those spicy things. This team, the Charizard, Cresselia, and Giratina will be one of my team that I'm going to use just because it has a 620 of threat score, pretty low. But that's one of the teams that I'm just gonna use to gain some points. So once I'm comfortable where I am, and climb the rankings, then I'm gonna switch it up to an anti-meta team, and I'm probably gonna use something cool. So that's why I have 3 sets of teams. So I'm gonna use to climb the ranks, this team that I just showed you, which is Cresselia, Giratina, and Charizard. And then I might replace it with Muk in the lead instead of Charizard. And then once I have done that and climbed enough, then I'm gonna go with a fun team that I wanted to test so bad, which is basically still Charizard in the lead, but then I'm gonna add in Shiftry, which I have a maxed out one that is actually a Hondo, is that how you say it, right? And then I'm also going to add in the, what should we call it? Oh my god, I forgot its name. It wasn't Cresselia, it was an anti-meta pick, and I totally forgot what it was. Great job, right? Well, anyways, but I do wanna have, I don't know how to say it, Benton. And I wanted to test Gengar too, but I saw that Gengar is not that great. And especially with the new changes, it's not gonna be as great. So I'm just playing around, but I think that's what I wanted to do. So Granbull and Charizard and Shiftry, which for bulk is probably 0, but it could be pretty hard hitting just because of who they are and what they do. Because each individual team, depending who I'm facing, because here's the thing. So I've been taking notes, guys, on each individual matchups, that who I'm facing, what I'm facing, and what Pokemons I'm facing. The reason I'm doing that is because when you go from rank 1 to rank 9, you have a way bigger pool. So also the way that the Pokemon Go matches you up with an opponent is a way bigger pick. So you have way bigger wild picks, right? So there's a meta is bigger, I should say it. So you feel like you're getting countered every single time because the meta is just so big that the game just matches you up with that. But once you get into the, let's say, top 500 players, when I was there, not anymore, I dipped so much because I tried different teams. And here's the perfect example. So I climbed up with the meta so easy to all the way to the top 500, made it almost to the list. I mean, I had the same exact point as what the last person on the 500 list had, so that means lots of people had the same exact points as well. But my point is, then I was going against those top few hundred players. So then it was all meta, because everybody used mainly meta there to climb the ranks. Now I switched it, and I figured that I'm going to be smart, I'm going to switch up the teams. That didn't work. I was at 300 points. But what I'm trying to make is that when you're not using the meta to climb, then you're gonna face against crazy players and mainly the meta to climb. Does that make sense? And then once you are in the meta, that's the time when you actually switch to the anti-meta team. Does that make sense? So when you're only facing like the pool of the best players who are really using the meta and they are really good at it, that's when you come up with the Kayla Pangs of teams. That's what I'm thinking, and that's what I'm gonna test. So this is not what I'm suggesting to you. This is what I'm going to test in the Ultra League. Let's see how it works. So I have my main team that is literally as meta as it gets, with Cresselia, with Giratina, and then Charizard for Spicy because I love my clone Charizard. And then once that's done, I climbed enough, then I'm gonna test my theory, which is going all anti-meta when I'm up there with the other players. So let's see how it goes. And if you guys know, in the Great League, what I did on the opposing of that is I had one single team for 250 matches. And then the craziest thing, as soon as I swapped it, and I knew exactly who am I facing, I always know what Pokemon's gonna come up, and I wrote them down. So I have all the statistics for 250 matches. And then I swapped my team, and the Pokemons that I faced was entirely different, which was mind-blowing to me because, like I said, for 250 matches, I faced literally exactly the same lineups and the same type of Pokemon, right? And as soon as I made switch to my team, after 250 matches for the last 3 days, I switched my team. For basically, what was it? I only did, I think, 50 matches in 3 days, so I didn't do all 75. But for about 50 matches, it was entirely different. It completely threw off the statistics. So I'm interested to gather more statistics and just put it out there. And I want to ask you guys to figure out what you think about these statistics. Is there an algorithm or is there no algorithm? And what do you even think? It could be pure luck, by the way, but when you look at those numbers, they're kind of alarming. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and it's definitely not a bad thing. We might just find out how it really works. So that's what I'm hoping to find out, so you guys have a better place to think and build teams from, because if you know this is how the algorithm works, then you might not gonna change your team all the time. You might just stick to one team and master that one single team. So anyways, that's my plan, to collect all the statistics for you guys, and I cannot wait for you to check it out, and I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. I'm linking them in, and I will see you guys this Wednesday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time for the next episode, where we actually going off our guest list, because I did a giant Forest Cup where they had about 100 contestants, and one person swept it all. And that one person is going to be our guest this Wednesday, and we're going to go over his tactics, how he used, and he's also going to analyze the actual teams that he have used, and the matches. And what was so crazy, he was able to recall the matches just from his mind, like exactly the attacks, the taps, and everything. So that was mind-blowing. So I cannot wait to share his episode. And after that, it's Lyndon Ryu. So I'm super excited to have him as well on the podcast. And he was #1 so far this season, just a few weeks ago on the Go Battle League rankings. So see you guys Wednesday.